Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Isabel Maas. I'm based in Belgium, Brussels. I'm part of the ICF Regional Development Team, and I'm very happy to facilitate this session today. We have the pleasure to welcome our ICF CEO, Magdalena Mook, who's going to present on the coaching global landscape. I think we're ready to start. So welcome, everyone, and very happy International Coaching Week, because that's the reason why we are all here today in celebration of coaching and its wonderful impact in the world. I'm honored to have for you today our CEO, Magdalena Mook, who is lined up for this session. So Magda, let me just quickly introduce you. Of course, you are not only the ICF's CEO, but you are also bringing lots of experience in fundraising, coaching, and consulting, and as well association management. You are the CEO and Executive Director of the International Coaching Federation, where you act as a partner to the ICF Global Board of Directors. You are a trained professional coach and assistant facilitator. We are very honored to have you today. So Magda, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. You know, when people start introducing you, like bringing lots of experience in this and lots of experience that, I'm like, are they aging me or something? And I think, yeah, but it's been my pleasure and honor to be with ICF for almost 17 years this year. And I am also absolutely pleased to be a part of this International Coaching Week. I think it's such a phenomenal opportunity for all of us to showcase coaching, showcase professional coaching, and to bring it maybe to people who might not be very familiar with it yet. So I would like to spend maybe 45 minutes with you talking about what we see from a perspective of the entire ICF. You probably know that our membership right now, it's about 55,000 members in over 160 countries. So we have an interesting insight into what's happening in different parts of the world. As you can imagine, and also seeing where you're from, as you are introducing yourselves, the maturity of coaching market is quite different in different parts of the world. So is the acknowledgement of coaching or the awareness of coaching. So again, I think that ICF as a global organization has a very unique opportunity to have a glimpse of what's going on in the entire marketplace. So I am going to share with you a little PowerPoint. And then, as Isabel said at the beginning, we will definitely have time for Q&A, because I think that that's the most fun part of the conversation. So this is a declaration, but I think it's an important declaration for the coaching week, and it is that coaching does work. And how we know it? Earlier this year, in January, in fact, we released the 2022 ICF Global Consumer Awareness Study. And this is the one being done in a partnership with PricewaterhouseCoopers. And we've done the first one in 2010. What we did in 2010, we asked a question that we seriously did not know the answer to, and it was, are you familiar with professional coaching? There is a saying in the United States that a good lawyer never asks a question that they do not know the answer to. We didn't know the answer. And yet, already in 2010, the response came very high at 51% of respondents being familiar with professional coaching. Well, fast forward it to 2022 or 2022 release. So the study was in the field in 2021. And what we found is that the awareness of professional coaching went from 51% in 2010 to 71 or 73%, depending how you measure it, in 2022 or 2021, which is amazing. We actually asked our colleagues from PwC if they saw a rise of a profession in such a manner recently, and they said no, that's quite unprecedented. And kudos to each and every one of you, professional coach, who are really being ambassadors for the coaching profession. This study was conducted in 30 countries. We had 30,000 plus responses, and it was also collected in 17 languages. So again, as you can see, this study is truly a global study and giving us a good idea about how the awareness of professional coaching is growing. We still have some work to do because some of the respondents would identify or define coaching more as mentoring or training. But again, this is quite a phenomenal progress for our profession. We asked people, and again, respondents to this survey are consumers. They are completely randomly chosen consumers in the countries that we decided to do the survey. And they are 18 years old or older. And we used to do this study with older populations. But as we well know, in some areas of the world, much younger people are becoming the main a part of a workforce. And we wanted to see if the trends for the younger people are actually any different from their a little bit older peers who otherwise are identified as having the greatest purchasing power in the economy. But we did ask this question. So why did you engage in coaching? As you can see, some of those responses are not surprising. Improved communication skills, work-life balance, we hear it all about, especially now, self-esteem and self-confidence, but work performance, productivity, so career performance, all those things that we as coaches see all the time as people asking as their goals for engaging with professional coach. We also ask about the follow-up questions, right? So if that was your goal, how well did it work? And we are very happy to report that majority of the outcomes are very similar to the goals, which points into a correlation between the goals being established for the coaching for the coaching relationship and the outcomes for the client. And, I already said 70 to 73%, the discrepancy is that we had 19 countries in the original study, 2010, that were still present in 2021 study. So if you base the responses just on those 19 consecutive countries, that number with 70% of global respondents expressed awareness of professional coaching. Altogether, with 30 countries, 73. Amazing. And what's even more amazing is that majority, 86% globally, of people who engaged in coaching relationship were satisfied with the experience, and they would actually recommend coaching to their colleagues, peers, families, communities, you name it. And what is also important when we talk about building coaching cultures in organizations or communities, it is important that both executives and employees value coaching. That's one of the elements of the index of strong coaching culture. So again, out of this most recent study, we know that 75% of senior executives who happen to be respondents to this survey and 78% of the employees did say that they value that relationship very much. ICF, often when we talk about ICF, and in some parts of the world, ICF is recognized for being a membership organization, and in many parts of the world, ICF is recognized as a standard setting organization. So our standard for coaches, that being credential, that being the code of ethics, that being the standard for accrediting coach training, are extremely important. And this survey, again, pointed out to the fact that the clients nowadays are really expressing their opinion that being a credentialed or certified coach and being a member of a professional organization for their coach is important. And I think that that's great for us at ICF. That's great for us for the credentialed members and for ICF members alike, because that sets us apart from individuals who may call themselves coaches. As we know, coaching is still an unregulated or self-regulated profession. And therefore, anybody can use that term, coach, to describe their services. Being able to say that you are either holding a credential from the reputable organization or you are a member of a reputable organization is something important that your clients know. Some of you probably do know that, and some may not, that ICF is one of the very few organizations that require coach training for the individuals to become coaches. It's this particular change has been introduced, I want to say a good 10 years ago. But again, it sets us apart from anybody who likes the term, because the term is quite popular nowadays. So what do we see happening? Of course, the pandemic put a, I want to say put a dent, but maybe it's not. Pandemic accelerated certain trends that we were observing already before. So we did a couple of studies. It was at the beginning of the pandemic, and then right at the beginning of 2021, it was a survey of our members to see how you're doing during the pandemic. What changes do you see? I have to tell you that at the very beginning, it was rather difficult to read the reports because so many respondents were very uncertain about their future as professional coach, about their success as a professional coach, and the future of the profession and the marketplace. It changed quite dramatically over the period of 6 months, where individuals started saying, well, we saw organizations perhaps holding and putting a hold and a stop to coaching, but not canceling. And then it probably was more influenced by the clients, especially organizational clients. Well, we all thought it's going to be a couple of months, right? And we'll be good to go. But then they realized that the virtual reality is a reality, and they started inviting coaching back in the virtual setting. So as you can see from this slide, coaching virtually certainly started to be conducted at the higher rates, and many people, and it's fairly uniform around the globe, believe that it's here to stay. So many of the respondents, and again, it depends a little bit on the region of the world, but many of the respondents said that it may be great for them to reach out to clients beyond their otherwise local or geographically defined marketplace. And that goes also with the ability of perhaps suggesting dues or fees that are different in different geographies. So quite a number of our respondents, and that was a member survey, so quite a number of our respondents did say that they like that idea of virtual coaching being more of a fixture than maybe not so much before the pandemic. Well, we also observed, and this is from the survey and also from our own surveys of members. We survey all the members who are coming to ICF every month, and we ask them to self-identify as what is their specialty. And you probably won't be surprised that live vision and enhancement coaching went up quite dramatically. We saw just a steady number of about 13% of our membership identifying themselves as such before the pandemic, and it grew to over 20+%. And again, not surprising, what we do hear from even corporate clients or clients who would be otherwise identified as corporate, they say with the pandemic, with the resilience, with the burnout, with all that, they say, I need to be a good person first. I need to be present for my family, because only then I can be a good leader for this organization. So even corporate-based coaching seems to have more of a life vision and enhancement element to it. Pro bono coaching, again, during the pandemic, I am just amazed constantly about the generosity of the coaching profession and our own organization. There were so many initiatives for healthcare providers, for people who lost their jobs, for people who are just overwhelmed with the situation that they were facing. So the pro bono coaching initiatives went tremendously. ICF sponsored several of them. And people do tend to think that it's gonna stay because there are still underserved populations that can benefit from coaching, and otherwise they would not have an access to it. So that's one of the trends we're observing. The other one, especially now with the more hybrid or virtual reality, team coaching is coming to the top of line of what organizations are looking for. So many organizations are now dealing with virtual teams, and it is much different to run a virtual team than to run the in-person team. And also there's greater recognition that it's not, and it shouldn't be just on the backs of the individual and the shoulders of the individual leader to be a face and a driver behind the change initiative. It takes a team. So as you know, last year, ICF issued this set of the team coaching competencies. They are in addition to and on top of our 8 core coaching competencies. And we are working right now, frankly, we're in a pilot on creating a possible micro-credential for team coaching. So team coaching, recognizing the importance of a team, recognizing the impact of every single person in a team on the decision-making and the success of the organization, has been reflected in that survey as well. So what do we do as the ICF to shape the future of coaching? As I just said about the team coaching competencies integrated with core competencies, I just had a pleasure of meeting with the independent review board. So this is the group that reviews any complaints we may receive against the code of ethics for our coaches. And ethics remains such a significant part of our experience and of our offering value proposition, if you will, for our members and for our clients in particular. So being stringent about the code, being informative about the code, and having a strong process behind it is something that is absolutely important to mention. You probably heard some changes to our credentialing process, and one of it is about the exam. We are, and I'll talk about it a little bit later, but we are seeking the approval of the ISO and the NCCA for our credentialing program, and that requires a proctored examination. Again, COVID in some way perhaps helped us, because before proctored exam was only conducted in a physical space, in a testing center. Now there are means of online proctored examination, but that's where we're moving towards at the beginning of August, and that's going to add a rigor to our process. I think that our process for credentialing has I mean, it's the best in class, and we as an organization invested a lot of time, a lot of energy, and frankly, a lot of money into making sure that our credentials are defensible. In other words, if somebody tries to question the process, we have very, very fair process and well documented, when well researched, to show that this is an objective process that produces results that are on par with what is the benchmark for the profession. So I already just mentioned it very briefly. Of course, we had to introduce the new exam for the credentials applicants, because we do have a set of new core competencies, and also the code of ethics is being reviewed every 3 years. So so this is what it's going to be offered anymore in this proctored environment. Our quest to get the ISO and NCCA credential, it's been a journey, but again, this is amazingly stringent process and requiring a lot of research, a lot of documentation, processes, procedures, and that's really something that I think would be so phenomenal when we get it, because we would be the only coaching organization having ISO 17024 accreditation for our credentials. We have a target date of August 2023 to submit the application. You won't believe how many pages we have to fill to do that. And then hopefully soon after we will be approved. We will be applying for both ISO and NCCA. NCCA is North American-based accreditation system, but fortunately those two organizations are working very close with each other, so we don't have to do 2 different applications. It's all together. You know, I mentioned pro bono coaching, and ICF Foundation, you may be familiar with the Ignite initiative. So this is where we work with our chapters, sometimes individual members or credential holders, to really find the organizations that are active in quite broadly defined social progress activities, and to coach their leadership so they can develop and their own staffs, and they can deliver on the mission and vision of their respective organizations. So all Ignite initiatives are pro bono. And as we talked about it a little bit earlier, the pro bono initiative seems to be holding an important space in our community. The Thought Leadership Institute offers the convenings, and they are looking into specific societal issues and how coaching can help. So, for example, the first one was around the future of work. We know that everything is changing, right? From virtual communities to people working remotely, to hybrid, to all great resignation, people doing the gig economy. It's super different. So how coaching, frankly, can help the leaders in the economy and also the workers in the economy to make sure that we know how to best harness the potential of this new way of doing things. The next one will be about the future of education. It's hard to find a single country that would say that they are happy with their educational system and how we're preparing the workforce of the future. So this is the upcoming offering of the Thought Leadership Institute, conversation around the future of education. And again, how can coaching play a role? Support, lead, you name it. So we're going to have a lot of information coming out of this particular event that it's happening mid-year this year. So so again, as an organization, we try to really look into the whole ecosphere that we are a part of. We don't live in a vacuum. Isabel in the introduction mentioned that I am a systems trained coach, and that's true. So systemic coaching will always tell you that, again, a person is not operating in a vacuum. There is always a system, and frankly, typically multiple systems that we are part of. And we have to find a way of showing up and operating with the respect to all of those systems alike and combined. So this is where the thinking is going about coaching, right? When it first started, it was one-on-one. It was coach working with the individual, and the impact of an individual, it was not really easy to measure if if the coaching itself created a significant ripple effect or impact on anybody else beyond that leader. Since that was the pivotal research of the American Psychology Association that pointed to that, and that was back in 2010, I want to say. Since there were a lot of research done on that ripple effect, on the fact that there is more acceptance for coaching, there is more acceptance for team coaching, building coaching cultures in organizations, team coaching, we mentioned that. We mentioned so many managers and leaders now are expected to operate in a different way. And again, ICF is just about finishing our research on what are the competencies of managers and leaders using coaching skills and how they differ from professional coaching relationship. And then when we did mention the social impact and the interest in social impact for our community, you can see that impact of coaching goes from micro to teams, to organizations, to communities, and then seriously impacting the entire world. As an organization, we have relationship with some large humanitarian organizations, and we can see also the acceptance and appreciation of coaching happening within those organizations as well, which in turn, I think, points to the fact that coaching is being accepted in social progress. And large corporations are also talking about the ESGs, right? The corporate social responsibility is very high on the mind of stakeholders in particular. And again, coaching is offering a very important insight and very important support to those initiatives. Artificial intelligence and technology in coaching. I'm sure you heard it more than once, that AI is coming and it's going to replace coaches, or the coaching platforms, how they impact the coaching marketplace. So we at ICF, I've been asked many times, what's the position? Well, I would say this: artificial intelligence is already with us. So we quite can't pretend that it is not. We've been using algorithms for years, right? And different assessments, and that's nothing but artificial intelligence. So what we are working on are the guidelines for the use of artificial intelligence. There are, of course, million questions about ethics of doing that, and we are in conversation with many coaching platforms to develop perhaps a standard. I use this term loosely at this point, of what constitutes a good platform, and again, what are the boundaries, ethical boundaries for using platforms for scaling coaching engagements. As we said, there are so many of them, and there are people that are very pleased with having availability of coaching platforms. Others not so much. We hear some because they are famous in the headlines in newspapers, right? But as I said, we are in a conversation with many of them. What is so heartwarming is that several numbers of the currently leading or the most popular platforms are in fact very keen on creating those ethical boundaries and of creating the level of awareness of what the platforms can and cannot do and should not do in the coaching marketplace. So stay tuned, because much more information about that will be coming shortly. Well, I mentioned at the beginning, we passed 55 or 56,000 members currently already. We passed 46,000 credential holders around the globe. So as an organization, we have a great impact already. And for me, that translates into great responsibility to be ambassadors for professional coaching, to be ambassadors for standards, to be ambassadors for ethical practice, and for the use of coaching for the good of a society. So we are world largest coaching community by far. And also, we do have a lot of offers. Isabel will be better to describe all the things that we have for you as members. One is the Communities of Practice. That's one of my favorite things. That's why I ended up in a slides, I guess. But there are these abilities to meet with the peers and colleagues, and to see how you can discuss different things and bring into the attention of the board if there is a need for any specific action, statement, or anything of that nature. So with that, I am gonna stop sharing my screen, and it's been a little shorter than I thought, but hey, here we go.
Thank you very much, Magda. It was indeed a bit shorter, but I really enjoyed your presentation, so I hope all participants enjoyed as well. If you have any question, well, feel free to either drop it in the chat box, either just unmute yourself and ask it live. Thank you. I'm also going to share a link in this chat box, which is your access to your member toolkit that is in your profile, and that really is outlining everything you can access as a member, and it will also bring you to the different places and the communities of practice. So really, really leverage your membership and your advantages.
I've never been on the ICF organization a call that there were no questions, so come on, people.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have a first one, Magda. How to become ambassador?
To me, it is so important that no matter what we do as an organization, right? No matter how much advertising we purchase or how many articles we place out there, we don't have the same power of 56,000 professional individuals out there. So to me, an ambassador is somebody who is proud of mentioning their ICF membership, is proud of bringing up their credentials should they hold one, and who is also proud to say, and I am bound by the code of ethics, and oh, by the way, if you don't think that my conduct is in accordance with the code, there is a process that you can apply to have it done. That's powerful. So I think that, this is just taking pride of being a member of a very professional organization with high standards and high global approval and acceptance. So that's the first step for sure. Of course, I can't help myself but to say, volunteer for ICF, volunteer to be a leader, either at the chapter level, committee level, community of practice level, whatever is available to you and whatever provides also value to you, that is definitely being an ambassador for the profession as well. And then, as we said, if you have this opportunity locally or otherwise, do talk about coaching. Talk about coaching with your colleagues and friends. There is some interesting research on the ripple effect of coaching, and I think that it all starts with the well-trained, well-prepared, confident professional coach.
Excuse me, so we don't have to fill any form. We just have to provide coaching and talk about coaching. We don't have to do to follow a way to become ambassador. Is that correct?
Well, yes, and there are a couple of places where you could become more official ambassador. For example, ICF Foundation has the set of ambassadors. Thought Leader Institute is thinking about the same, and a couple of other places. They would have a call for ambassadors, and then yes, a form would need to be filled. But otherwise, I use the term more broadly, I think. But this is both. So thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah.
Okay, many thanks.
Ilaria, I would just add that make sure to read your member updates, the updates you receive by email, because that's already always containing all the information when there is a call for there is a call for volunteers, or if there is a way to engage. And also feel free to reach out to your volunteers locally. I mean, all chapters are really in need of resources as well locally. So maybe you can also start there by doing something very small, but that could have a big impact locally.
I only registered on ICF Global. I'm not registered on my chapter yet.
Okay, well, you can definitely as well have an engagement with Global. And Magda, you're right. The questions are coming in. So I have several regarding credentialing. So one is coming from Iran. New changes in the CKA have made things very difficult for Iranian. It seems unfair and contrary to ethics, isn't that?
That's a phenomenal question, and the question that we get from multiple countries, and it is frankly beyond the control of ICF. We have a partner in our credentialing process, Pearsons. Pearsons we were informed that Pearson is banned from operating in certain countries because of the sanctions. They are US-based organizations. We are looking for every opportunity and every solution that we can offer. And believe me, we're digging deep to make sure that we can offer services to our members, and especially credentialed applicants, to be able for them to get their credential. Right now, because of the sanctions and our partnership with Pearson, we are not able to offer CKA to those people. But again, please be assured that we're super trying to find a solution to it.
Thank you, Magda. Still another question related to that same topic. Well, thank you very much, first of all, from Van Vincent. So I'm going to share this. Thank you. Will the existing credential coaches need to resit for the new CKA?
Now, if you already have a credential, that's not necessary. However, if you were to apply for a credential after the deadline, even if you did have a CKA before, so for PCC or MCC, you may need to. My suggestion, because there are so many people who know more about it than I, but in general, no, a current credential holder definitely does not have to sit again for CKA. Should they be going for another credential, especially from ACC to PCC and PCC to MCC, that may be a requirement.
Thank you, Magda. I'm going to share the link of the support email so that they can, this is the email address that you can use to address all the questions you may have regarding your credentialing CKA, so feel free to use it. We also have another question regarding the CKA, Magda, is coming from Vicky. Did you say that the team coaching competencies are integrated in the current CKA exam?
No, CKA exam is for our ICF core competencies. The competencies for team coaching are developed in conjunction with our existing 8 core coaching competencies, and should we have a credential, micro-credential for team coaching, those additional competencies will be tested. However, the CKA is purely based on the 8 core coaching competencies.
Thank you, Magda. Another question. We completely changed the topic. So we leave the credentialing area, and here is a bigger question, Magda. What are your observations regarding the growth of specialist coaching niches such as ADHD coaching?
You know, again, I've been in the business for a long time, which is good and bad, both, seriously. And I've seen actually a proliferation of niches vis-a-vis moving more to generalists several times already over my 17 years with ICF. I think what we're observing now with more people offering their services in, say, HDAD is because we have a lot of issues and a lot of people who probably can use that service. It's very important to never cross the line between offering service that is beyond coaching, such as medical or mental health service. Having said that, you know, it's like with anything else. Everybody develops certain specialty in what they do and what they offer. It is just to always stay true to our code of ethics and never misrepresent your qualifications in that given offering.
Thank you, Magda. Another question. What is being done for credentialing to support internal corporate coaches after leaving their jobs, especially joining ICF after leaving their jobs?
So I would need to hear more about the question.
Yeah, if I understand is, you know, we ask international coaches to provide a proof that it was part of their job description to get their credentialing. So what happens if they have left before joining? So is my understanding correct, Ezekielu?
Yes, Ezekielu, your understanding is correct. I am actually referring to my specific situation where I was with a multinational company doing coaching staff, internal staff essentially, and I left after 20 years. Now, I decided to pick up coaching 2 years ago, and I joined ICF, and getting my record is a challenge. So that's the kind of challenge that I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. You know, I think that hopefully it is still available to you to reach out to your former employer and ask them for that affirmation that you worked in a capacity of an internal coach and that you offer that service. We have quite many of coaches who are coming a little bit back and forth, sometimes from internal to external and vice versa. And this is anecdotal, so it's not research based or anything, but anecdotally, we do see people being able to obtain those kind of affirmation from their former employers. So hopefully that's available to you as well.
Okay. Thank you, Magda.
Thank you. Martina, I've just sent a link in the chat box so that you can all have access to that news about the new ICF credentialing exam. So you have a little bit more than just a date in the chat. You have access to the whole article that was published on the website. So feel free to have a look. I have another question here. How about combining coaching and NLP? Is it still within the scope of coaching?
this is another very interesting conversation. I'm personally fascinated by it. It's like what is core, what is add-on, right? Because, for example, ICF has a very friendly and close relationship with the Association of Change Management Professionals. Change management is something that many people, many coaches apply or find it useful to know about when they coach. Many change management professionals actually are applying for ICF credentials because they find coaching approach being very attractive and very effective to their clients. So with NLP, I find it somewhat similar. NLP is a very interesting add-on. Not everybody likes it. Not everybody needs it, right? But NLP is something that can be used very effectively by coaches if that's what is working for their clients. Same, change management, mindfulness. We've been talking about that a lot, and developing certain level of competency in mindfulness. The term mindful coaching is being even coined recently. So again, I think that as ICF, we stick to the core of coaching, that being our core coaching competencies, and yet there is never a lack of invitation to expand the toolkit, if you will, of the individual coach so that they can meet their client where the client needs the most.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Magda. There is another question. Well, Alpesh, I saw your hand rising, but I see now that you've just put it in the chat. Do you prefer to say it out loud, or do you want me to read your question?
No, I can read my question. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. So my question is, in the current pandemic situations, when we are finding a lot of people are and the organizations are having a lot of challenges, including the financial ones. So in such case, pro bono coaching is working out very well and helping them. So my question here is, like at credential level, let's say ICF, ACC, whereby it requires 100 hours and only 25 hours are pro bono. Is there any plan to change that to 50-50 or so? Because seeing the current situation, not everybody will be able to do the financial stuff.
Thank you for this question. In general, that's quite a conversation about why even a limit on pro bono coaching, right? Why does it matter if this is paid or not paid? Originally, and again, I'm dating myself. Originally, the reason for having that limit was that it was a great desire on behalf of the organization for coaching to become a profession. And as a professional, you need to make a business out of your doing, right? You need to be able to make living out of your doing. So this is why the limit on pro bono was established. During the pandemic times, ICF, the board, actually waived that or changed that limit. It was greater. I have to tell you honestly that I don't know if there is a conversation of continuing this extended ability to submit pro bono coaching hours or not, but I'll follow up. I'll follow up and we'll make sure that you get your answer.
I truly appreciate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Magda. I have a question from Vicky. She's asking, where can we find the draft AI guidelines you mentioned about artificial intelligence?
Yeah, it's on a research portal. When you get into research portal and click on ICF research, it will take you to all sorts of different research, and just put the keyword AI and it will take you there. But we can make sure again, Isabel, right, that we can find it and send it to you guys.
Yeah, I'm actually looking, but speaking, and monitoring the chat is a little bit difficult.
And if we need to call Joel, we call Joel.
Yeah, and actually just sharing this link it's actually the landing page of the Thought Leadership Institute. There is also a possibility for you to sign up for their newsletter in case you want to get information on their works and everything as well they made available for you. So feel free to just go on that page and sign in, and then you will get the information about all their works. Thank you so much. Any other question? We still have maybe 1 or 2 questions that we can welcome today. So feel free. No? Okay, well, Magda, as usual, you know, I'm very pragmatic. I'm very happy to free 10 minutes of your precious time. Same for all of you. So I really, really want to thank you all for being with us. I just want to remind that don't worry, your CC units are actually automatically generated if you wouldn't receive your email, because, you know, sometimes with automatically generated, it lands in the spam box. No panic. You can always go back to ICF events platform under your My Events or My Accounts. You have all your events lined up there. So if you open today's event from next week onwards, you will be able as well to access your CC certificate there. That's a new feature. We also have from next week onward the archive section that will go live, so that you can also have some replays from current session. And please don't forget that we still have more than 500 events in 25 languages available until Sunday. So if you're looking for any other great session or whatever, and you can still contribute, because ICW has just started on Monday and we still are celebrating for another couple of days. So thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much, Magda. It's always a pleasure. And well, feel free to reach out. You also have the regional development teams and the chapters who are there for you. So feel free to let us know if we can assist with anything. Thank you so much. Happy International Coaching Week to all of you, and see you very soon.
Thanks, Isabel, for your support, and thank you everybody for being here together. It's always a pleasure to meet and greet, even if it's still virtual. So wishing you a happy rest of the week and happy rest of the international coaching.
Thank you. Bye-bye.